Deuteronomy 14. This is a passage dealing with the first fruits. So Israel would plow their fields, they'd bring in the first fruits, and then they would have a feast to the Lord where they'd offer their first fruits to God. And this is what it says in Deuteronomy 14:22. I'll read all the way through verse 26. It says, "You shall truly tithe all the increase of your grain that the field produces year by year. And you shall eat before the Lord your God in the place where he chooses to make his name abide, the tithe of your grain and your new wine and your oil, of the firstborn of your herds and your flocks, that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. But if the journey is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry the tithe," notice this was not money tithe, this was actually physical produce from their farms and stuff. "Or if the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far from you, when the Lord your God has blessed you," that would be Jerusalem, if they're too far from there, "then you shall exchange it for money. Take the money in your hand and go to the place which the Lord your God chooses." So they trade their tithe in, all the produce, they get cash, then they take the cash to the place, and then what do they do with that cash? Verse 26, "And you shall spend that money for whatever your heart desires, for oxen or sheep, for wine or similar drink. For whatever your heart desires, you shall eat there before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice, you and your household." Now, I've actually heard a pastor take this verse and sat there for I don't know how long, and he basically tried to explain how this was not alcoholic wine. But the Hebrew is pretty conclusive. What it says here in verse 26 is that it's for wine or similar drink, and there's no way around it. This is definitely an alcoholic content. It's not just grape juice. Like, the Hebrew is clear. Wine or similar drink. This is definitely including a alcoholic beverage. And they're to take it, and he says, well, but it's the first fruits, so they just press the grapes. So, right? If you just press the grapes, they don't have time to ferment. Yes, but it's once a year, and it's in the first part of the year, April, May, right? Well, the harvest for the wine was months before that. So this is, yeah, it's first fruits. But anyway, the point is this. If you've sat under that teaching, or someone tells you this is not alcoholic, that's just not true. And we can't build our theology off things that aren't true because we feel like it makes people's lives safer. We've got to deal with what Scripture actually teaches. So they're to spend this money on wine or similar drink, whatever they want, and enjoy it unto the Lord. This is a positive passage, right? It's not specifically about alcohol or wine or something, but it includes that. And this obviously could get somebody intoxicated, but they're not to get intoxicated, but they are to enjoy that liquid as part of their feast to the Lord. That's something that they're able to do. Do they have to drink wine? No, but it's an option.